Nearly 1 in 5 people have a disability here in the U.S.
There's an untapped pool of talent in this country that has gone overlooked and undervalued.
A lot of people with developmental disabilities are capable of working, but are still left out of the workforce.
But are there enough opportunities for them to succeed?
And how can employers create more inclusive work environments that benefit all employees?
People with disabilities not only have the ability to work, they want to work.
Having that disability truck tells people in Butte, look at what these people are doing here. They can work just like everybody else, and they can handle a job just like everybody else.
Disability is a food truck that helps people with disabilities get job experience.
It's a jumping off point for these individuals to get job training, to get experience.
And they use it to make money to help out their organization.
So Disability is a food truck that's located in Butte, Montana, and its whole purpose is to create employment opportunities for people with disabilities and to pay them a wage that is fair compared to the market that we have around town. There's so many benefits to hiring people with disabilities, but getting their foot in the door is incredibly hard.
One of the problems we've had is lack of funding for job development, job placement for people. We talked several times about how to solve that problem. Working with Cassie for Montana Independent Living Project, we have similar problems trying to keep our clients, the achievement of their goals matched with what's in the community, and job placement was a tough one.
I started partnering with Todd Hoare, who runs Silverbow Developmental Disabilities Council, and we always were problem solving, like how can we help people get jobs? Because once someone's employed, it brings so much more goodness to their life. Everyone benefits from work, and so how are we getting the people that we work with employed? So we kind of came up with the idea for disability in that we were like, we should create something.
So we brainstormed different ideas, and a food truck was for sale, so we decided that would be a great opportunity. Since we had a kitchen that was a teaching kitchen, it didn't take much for us to turn it into a commercial kitchen.
From that food truck, we could have people working in the kitchen doing dishes, doing prep, then going on the truck and having skills of customer service, using a till, just every aspect of maybe having a restaurant job in our town.
But it's also morphed into community engagement, teaching the community about what people with disabilities are capable of doing.
We both work in the disability field, and we both see this huge gap where people are not being employed. Todd was just a natural fit because under Silverbow Developmental Disabilities Council houses the kitchen.
We had been teaching people how to cook for themselves in an independent living type of situation. But what we were finding out is they were struggling with trying to find work.
I run the construction program at Montana Tech Highlands College, and Todd and Cassie came to us and said, we just got this truck, can you remodel it, what can we do? And we tear something out, rebuild, put it together, and then say, okay, take it out, try it. Until finally they had a working food truck.
We're very lucky because we're a nonprofit, and so our ultimate goal is not to be making money so much off disability, but to sustain it in a way that continues to last for years and years.
Disability came along in a time when vocational rehabilitation was having some troubles with funding. So the goal was to use this. You could come as a client to the program without really worrying about where your money was coming from or if you had money for the assistance.
Disability is never intended to be like a long-term opportunity for people, but really just that stepping stone that we want people in our community to see you can be a really good employee.
I don't think just because we're doing this that there is no more stigma for people with disabilities, but I think it's a channel in the right direction.
The reality is every community is made up of so many different types of individuals with different skill sets, different strengths, different challenges. The importance and power of finding their unique craft of talents, whether it's a person with or without disabilities, is only going to help build a community and really speak to its strength.
People with disabilities can be really hard workers. They just have to find that specific skill and pursue it.
While there's lots of people with disabilities working all over the community, a lot of times they're not up front. And with disability, they're interacting one-on-one. It's really opened the eyes to a lot of people in the community.
I think the more that the truck goes out, the more opportunities it offers people this reminder that this person's capable And that when I see them, I don't have to talk to their parent or to the person around them.
They're somewhat against hiring people with disability because they don't understand how good of a work ethic they can have.
Just depends on the person's outlook and how they react to certain people saying different things.
Most people aren't discriminatory against people with disabilities because they're mean-spirited. It's a lack of education.
Sometimes people still picture them as just incapable. That's the only thing that is kind of frustrating, is people not completely understanding.
We get scared when we don't understand something, and so to really draw that focus back to person first language and empowering someone, Disability has a lot of ability to just give people that opportunity to try that.
There may be misperceptions out there about what a person with a disability can or cannot give back to their community.
From my personal experience, whenever you would bring up people with disabilities, they would think of them as children who are incapable of working. Disabilities starting to help break that stigma and prove that they can be independent.
It really just builds that knowledge of the larger community to know everyone is the same in unique ways.
That's one of our main goals, help them realize their skills and hopefully one day get them more independent than they were before.
Disability is not a lifestyle. It's something that anybody can overcome, and Disability prove that every time they come out and serve wonderful food.
It's always something different, and every single thing that we've ever had from Disabilities has been awesome. The service has been awesome. The way it's executed has been great.
What I like about Disability is the diversity of the food. It's always pretty darn awesome.
And I think they're showing up because the food is good and the service is good. That's what we really want to see. We're not trying to create a feel-good program. We're trying to create people with very few job skills into people with a resume.
It's giving great chances and opportunities for people to get job experience, to go out into the community, and maybe to try something they've never done before.
We are a supportive environment that allows growth, and it allows people to try new things, and if they don't like that new thing, to recognize that and to not put pressure on themselves to be something that they're not.
And we're just going to start with organizing shelves, simple stuff to have him like understand or not understand, you know, and then based off of that is where I know he's at. So if there's a job in town, I try to usually find the right person for the job.
The more that people are coming on that truck, the more we're seeing just this growth and confidence, which I think is just the most beautiful thing that can come out of this opportunity.
I actually started out as a client working with disability, but I managed to overcome the anxiety and got a position here as a job coach and started helping out with people like Destiny, Sam, Austin, Callie.
It helps me get some work to do and interact with people on a daily basis. It's pretty fun. It's nice and laid back, not too strict.
Basically like working with friends. We get to listen to music and talk and hang out while still managing to get everything done.
Main goal of all of it is not only to just have a job and put money in your pocket, but it adds a whole new social aspect. So now you have a job, you have coworkers, they become friends.
When I tell people about disability, especially parents that have children with disabilities, it lights up this promise in them that their child can do something, that they are not going to be forgotten about, and that there are opportunities in the world, and that it takes all of us like looking at people with disabilities through a different lens to be like, okay, you do have value. What does that look like for me and my business?
What we're doing with disability and what we're doing with Teaching Independence isn't for somebody to feel sorry for an individual or meet a quota so that a business has this diverse group of people working there. What we're trying to do is teach the person with a disability and the community that it's a civil right to live in a community without prejudice. But we don't want to teach it in a way where it's the law or it's a rule. We try to change attitudes by showing.
I try to advertise to everyone, even if someone just says it's amazing that they're working here. If they're an employer or something like that, I want to sit down and talk to them. We get people who have never had a job before. It's a ton of experience. So eventually, if we do go and get a job out in the public, we know what's expected of us.
In all positions within disability, you might not just be advocating for yourself, but the person behind you that's coming in. So being professional, teaching soft skills such as how to have proper hygiene while you're working around food is teaching the public and themselves about the people before and after them so that it's a legitimate business.
There's other options for hiring people, and these people work hard. They never call off. They never have excuses, you know.
These people are here, let's see them and let's get them hired in other places in our community.
You see people working at places like McDonald's and working at places like OMG and basically graduating from disability and moving into other jobs that are throughout the whole community.
They are front and center. Individuals with disabilities are involved every step of the way.
It's great for people in the community to see those with disabilities working and creating an awesome product.
So it gives the larger community an opportunity to interact with individuals with disabilities. There can be some anxiety about how or what that looks like.
I hope that disability is changing the way that Butte views people with disabilities. I hope that the people that come and wait in the line and spend that time and see the joy in people's faces, that's shifting their perception every single time.
But what it really does is lend people a view into people with disabilities, with what they have in the interior. And that's really what is important, is what people are like on the inside and what their hearts say and what their work ethic is.
It's helped me overcome a lot of my anxiety. I honestly thought I would never be in this kind of job. I always pictured myself in the background, working just a small, minimal job. Now that I'm here, I love it.
I like working here and smiling my face and being camera.
If you want to take a little break, you can. Do you want to? No? You want to keep hard working?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have pretzels and cheese. That's my favorite.
I am the luckiest to have the job I have because I get to work with people who I'm just like, you're the coolest. You make me happy and you drive me to be better, because our world is real sad sometimes. And then we get to work with people who, if disability is your dream job, then I want to hang out with you all the time, because that's exciting to be able to fulfill someone's dreams. And for the people that learn about it and come support it, I think they're really seeing like, cool, I want to see that succeed because I want to empower that person to be the best that they can be, and I want to give them opportunities. Any one of us can become disabled at any time. If we live long enough, we're all going to be disabled. If we change because we acquired a disability, we don't feel like we deserve the things that we had before, which is completely false. So how are we building our cities, and how are we incorporating people into our workplaces, and how are we treating people with disabilities so that they are equal?
The more we teach inclusiveness to the public, the more they're educated, the more they're communicating to their friends and family, and then bringing that into their business. Not to feel sorry for somebody with a disability, not to feel sorry for somebody that's less fortunate than them, but all these rules and our society and morals are in place is to live with each other, because we all live here.
This conversation is so massive, and we need to be empowering people to be able to stand up for themselves and advocate for themselves, what their needs are. So lots of people with disabilities may need an accommodation in the workplace, and that is completely legal for them to ask for that, and to show them that it's okay if you need an extra break, adjusted schedule, or support on the job. You need to be able to ask for that confidently, because if you have those things, those small accommodations, you can be successful in a workplace.
Why is it important to employ people with disabilities? And a lot of people are like, well, because, you know, it's nice. It's not. That's not the reason. The reason why we need to employ people with disabilities is because they want to work, they're capable of working, and there's tons of open positions that they're capable of doing.
We are no longer standing for people being paid sub-minimum wage. That is just wrong in every way, shape, and form. These people are putting an effort towards something and should be paid adequately. That is so inappropriate that we would treat people in our society as a subset of humans that don't get paid what they're worth.
There's legitimate employment opportunities by hiring people with disabilities, and so they've taken it seriously and started hiring at a competitive wage.
To see the smiles on people's faces and have them working and earn money for themselves. And today I had 2 envelopes with tips for these guys, and they're just ear to ear, you know? So
Really shifting that conversation has been the whole purpose behind disability, was that people deserve to be paid a living wage, a wage that is fair for the work that they've done.
Some business people might be going, oh, I'm gonna give this person with a disability this chance, you know, and almost like a affirmative action kind of thought process. Well, that's nice. It's not the goal. The goal is to see the person as a person first.
You can hire people with disabilities and they can provide like an active role in your establishment. And for employers to see that hands-on is pretty big. And I think it's doing what we set out to do. It's just slow going.
We are going to move toward a future where everyone's going to feel like they're included instead of being ostracized, like, oh, I got to get this lift out or do this special thing for you. If everything is made in a way that we're all just living here in a real equal platform, that's the ultimate goal. And so for us, that's what disability has been, is really a communication tool to be like, everyone has worth. And sometimes you have to look a little harder, but if you just give it an opportunity, you'll find it.
It's kind of in all realms we've seen the community step up to the movement of people with disabilities being more accepted.
It's an ongoing conversation, not just in Butte. It's all over the United States, the world. Including people with disabilities is overlooked a lot, but not on purpose. And so how do we change that conversation so that when we're having meetings and when we're bringing people in, that we're bringing everyone in, not just a certain group of people.
I just wish that every city had its own disability, you know? It would help out tremendously for bringing awareness.
But there's really powerful ways to teach people how to advocate for themselves by just speaking up. When some need is not being met, that you actually say so instead of go, oh, it's fine, I'll just deal with it. Because when we just deal with things, someone else is facing that barrier as well. So we can always be better. And sometimes that's just educating ourselves, taking time to learn about what is this? How does the ADA help the people in our community, or how can I learn more so that I can be a better advocate? Saying something is the easiest way to get involved. The other way is to join the Americans with Disabilities Act committees in your local communities so that you can educate yourself on what is the ADA and how does that apply to our community.
People can get involved with disability by coming to Buttetoberfest. We use that money to support disability, and it's an annual fundraiser we do in Butte. We look forward to like guest chefs teaching some form of skill that they hadn't seen.
As far as helping with disability and things like that, if you want to volunteer, we'd love to have you.
We take in volunteers who might want to come in and help work one-on-one.
But also referring people with disabilities.
The very low end is showing up and buying some food off the truck, seeing what it's all about, which helps you, hopefully, for getting a good meal, and them by keeping disability viable.
Everyone is a person first, so let's make sure we're speaking to people as people. We're not looking beyond them, we're not overlooking them, but we're just looking at them and asking them, what can you do? What do you want to do?